This is produced as part of the ongoing work on the website, thewaythetruthandthelife.net.
Good morning. It's Monday, February 2nd, 2011. I'm going to show you the number of visitors to the website. It uses frames, so it's not found by the search engines. So it's people being referred directly to it, and it embarrasses me that there's such a lack of completeness and just simple errors that would distract a person from entering in and entering their experience into the framework and seeing their own experience more clearly, or seeing how the framework needs to be revised because their experience adds insight that doesn't exist in my work. There's much that I'm thankful for. Wonderful home meeting with testimonies yesterday and fellowship at a private home with 4 of us to have a more in-depth conversation. Much to be thankful for, the seeing that spirit of love and care and willingness to sacrifice but not hurt others, and part of many in the Muslim world gives me hope that something of Christ's spirit could find place to live, even though Christ is denied. Jesus is accepted in the Quran, but just as another prophet, and denying him to be the firstborn Son of God sitting at God's right hand. Anyway, I started working on the website, and I'm working in details and trying to get things organized. There's so much information. I've got somewhere in the order of 100,000 different images and files that are being organized here, and I lose sight of the overview using my logical detail brain for what I'm working on, and I looked at the overview a bit and found 2 identical videos being presented, one under preference and the other under introduction, and other things like this. That is, you begin to look at this website. Please be patient. It's a work in progress. I've spent about 10 years working on it now, and much of it is disorganized because the more I do, the more insight I have in gestalt formation. That is, forming a picture out of experience, and that is my desire, not to give you experience but to help you organize your own personal experience. One of the most detrimental things we have is learning by book learning rather than reality. The books are a description of reality. In reality, we live and move and have our being, and unfortunately too many are being raised in a fabricated artificial world with an artificial reality. Not that there isn't a place for these things, but to deprive children of the common sense experiences of living in with the freedom to move around and experience the countryside and physical reality. I just testified at the Food and Drug Administration hearings 3 weeks ago on electroconvulsive treatment. And here's a panel of about 18, most of them with PhDs in medicine and psychiatry and different neurological sciences and so forth, and I asked them how far I would have to lift a 15-pound baby for it to drop on the floor with a same energy of one electroconvulsive treatment. And the electroconvulsive treatments have to have enough energy to cause a grand mal seizure, or it's considered a failure. Here's all this panel and nobody has a clue. It's only high school physics. You would have to drop a 15-pound baby from a 10-foot high building to equal the energy dumped in the brain in one 6 to 8 second electroconvulsive treatment. They might get $1,000 for it, and it might take a person who is suicidal and make them forget who they are or what they were going to do for a month or so. But it's equivalent to hitting somebody over the head with a 2x4. Yes, they wake up and they don't even know who they are, but there's damage being done, and that's a distraction. But at any rate, these things are investigated, talked about, and hopefully some foundation for finding meaning in purpose to existence. I found it, and I'm so thankful for it, and I see something of Christ's Spirit working in the young Muslims that are rebelling against the authoritarian, and let's hope that they'll be able to rebel against this book that says for the unbelievers to cut off their fingers and cut off their heads. And Muhammad had the Surah of abrogation, where he thought the Jews and Christians were going to follow them before, but when he was discouraged with the tribe in Mecca, the Jewish, not helping them, and he had this Surah of abrogation that Allah can change his mind and Jews were turned into apes and pigs. But they're taught to deceive the unbeliever, bring out these surahs that were written before the Surah of abrogation. They don't count, and every imam knows that, but they take and mix the chronological order of the surahs, and these nice surahs, early surahs, are paraded as Islam, and every imam knows that they don't count, that the later surahs like Surah number 9 are what count. Read Surah 9. It's not abrogated. Anyway, this is my introduction. It could change in the future. Thank you for the time.
1 John 4:8 He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. 1 John 4:9 In this was manifested the love of God toward us, because that God sent his only begotten Son into the world, that we might live through him. 1 John 4:10 Herein is love, not that we loved God, but that he loved us, and sent his Son to be the propitiation for our sins. 1 John 4:11 Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought also to love one another. 1 John 4:12 No man hath seen God at any time. If we love one another, God dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in us.